Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coming Distractions. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host this week, Carrie.
Hello.
All right, guys, we are back. We are going to review Death Note.
The human whose name is written in this note shall die.
Shall we begin? You're a death god? Yes.
What exactly can I do with this death note?
Put your name down and see what happens.
Okay, Death Note. This is the new film that's on Netflix. Carrie, you saw this. I did not.
Yes.
You are the anime expert in the TMP Studios network. So, what is Death Note about? First,
I want to briefly discuss the original manga before we go into the film. So the original manga, which debuted in 2003, followed the exploits of Light Yagami, who discovers a mysterious notebook called the Death Note. The Death Note is used by Shinigami or death gods to kill people. That's what they do. You write a person's name in the Death Note and they die. Pretty straightforward.
I believe, as Terrence described it, it's a book where you get the final destination.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So the original manga focused a lot on this sort of like cat and mouse game that's very much a suspense thriller story between Light and the detective L, who is trying to uncover who is causing all of these killings under the name Kira. So people believe that Kira is this god, but it's really just Light using the notebook to kill what he believes are criminals, people deserving of death.
Okay. Did you like the original manga?
I love the original manga.
Okay.
Like, just for frame of reference, I would put Death Note within my top 5 manga series ever.
Really? Okay.
I fucking love Death Note.
That's a big deal coming from you.
Right. So I think it's one of the best written suspense stories, period. It's really good. So Death Note, the Netflix film, which released on August 25th, so you can stream it right now, follows a kid named Light Turner, and he lives in Seattle because this version takes place in America.
Of course it does. Because America is the only place that matters,
right,
as we all know.
So I didn't have much of a problem with the setting being changed. You want to make it appeal to an American audience, you set it in America, sure. Whatever. So Light Turner, again, he finds a Death Note. He meets the Shinigami that it belongs to. He starts killing criminals, and then shit immediately gets very out of hand.
Okay.
Because he has like a crush on this girl in his class named Mia, and he like tells Mia about the Death Note.
Bad idea.
Mia is a crazy person, and she's like, yeah, let's kill all these criminals, but then also let's kill anybody who gets in our way.
Wow.
So, like,
okay. Mia's should not have the book.
No. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There is L in this. That's
played by Lakeith Stanfield, yes.
And he's very good.
Everyone says that he's the real standout, actually.
He is, because it seemed like he actually read the manga. Like, he understands L's eccentric mannerisms, his quirks, the way that he speaks, the way that he moves. You know, he doesn't look like L from the original manga because L is not a black guy in the
Right.
original manga. But ultimately he moves and he speaks, he presents himself like L would present himself.
Which is interesting because when the original trailer came out, or the original information about this, he was the big controversy of like,
right,
he's so far away from what this anime is. Turns out not really.
He's the best. Yeah. L, you know, the mangaka of the original, Oba and Obata, both have said, they're like, we didn't design L to be like any specific ethnicity.
Right,
they were just like, he's just mixed, whatever. So him being black bears no significance on his story whatsoever.
Cool.
But yeah, so the problem with the Netflix Death Note is that it doesn't have any of that like cat and mouse back and forth suspense narrative to it.
Okay.
It turned it into like a horror action film. It doesn't have the kind of feeling that the original story like.
Yeah, I couldn't get necessarily a beat on, because again, I didn't know anything about the original. I knew like the real 10,000 foot view of what the story was like.
Sure.
Book, write name in, die.
Yes.
Like that's like literally all I knew. And that like demon character is in it. But I certainly didn't get from the trailers. I didn't get a beat of like, this is a suspenseful thing. So
no, there's really not a lot of suspense, because in the manga, it takes L quite a bit of time for him to be like, oh, Light is probably Kira. And then he takes a lot of time trying to prove that Light is Kira. But in the movie, he's just like, you're Kira, and Light's like, well, what if I was? And then there's like a chase scene, like L has a gun for some reason.
Why?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that really doesn't bear any resemblance to the feel of the original.
Okay, so no, it does not sound like it at all. I guess my question to you is, 1, what is your score out of 5?
2.
2 out of 5.
Yeah.
And my second question, which I think is probably the most important here, is would this have worked better if they had done a series instead of a movie?
I think part of the problem is like, this is a 100-minute film. So it's not a lot of time, and you're smashing an entire multi-volume manga arc into 100 minutes, and it doesn't really function that well. Like, it probably would have worked better as a miniseries. I've heard some varying reports that there may be 2 more films coming after this, which would be weird because given how this movie ends, I don't really know how you follow what happens at the ending.
You just fucking Scooby-Doo it. Yeah, it was a dream sequence.
I guess. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think they, like, it feels very rushed. Like the intro of Light finding the Death Note feels very rushed. The relationship that he has with Mia feels very rushed, but at the same time, it's like they're 2 dumb, horny teenagers, so maybe that made a degree of sense. But the thing that really felt rushed was Elle being like, Light is Kira, and I'm gonna get you, because I'm like, that's...
You kind of missed the whole point of it.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. So 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
This is I let me see if I can sum this up. If you are a fan of the original manga, this is not worth your time.
I don't know that it would be not worth your time. There are parts of this that are very good, which is why I give it a 2. I found it to be at least entertaining. I wouldn't qualify it as complete worthless garbage. Willem Dafoe as Ryuk is very good.
Okay.
The problem is that they didn't really have the money to keep him in the movie that much. So he's only in a few scenes, but he really punctuates the scenes that he's in. Ryuk, for reference in the manga, is like always there. He's always in the background. You always see him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's like reading a comic book and eating apples and just sort
Just
of
hanging
like
out.
bantering back and forth with Light. Whereas in the live action, probably because they only had like a $40 million budget,
Right.
and the amount of mocap that it took for them to create Ryuk, probably cost a lot of money. So they didn't do it too terribly often.
Like he's in the background, like way in the background.
Way back there.
Don't worry about what
Just
he's doing.
squint a little bit.
It's
Nat-
a drawing of the guy.
The girl who plays Mia, I thought was really good. Like that character, like you hate her by the end, but like it's a really well acted role because you believe that like that girl's fucking crazy. Like, as we said, Lakeith Stanfield as L was really good. The one really weak link was I think his name is Nat Wolff as Light. So
good. The main character isn't that great.
I think the he wasn't bad. He just like paled in comparison to the rest of the main cast.
Okay.
I think this the writing wasn't great. The direction also wasn't great.
And this was directed by
Adam Wingard.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
He did like Blair Witch, the most recent one. He's done a lot of horror stuff, which is probably why this version of Death Note comes off as more of like a horror action movie.
Okay, yeah, he did.
It's this guy directing.
Yeah,
it.
he did the new Blair Witch. He did Oh no, he's doing Godzilla versus King Kong. Oh, boy. He did the VHS movies, ABCs of Death. So yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's pretty well ingrained in the horror genre.
Right. What has pissed me off about him is that he has no backbone when it comes to social media criticism, and has been on Twitter for the last week bitching at people who have legitimate complaints about his adaptation of a enormously beloved manga series. So pull your big boy pants up, dude. Deal with it. I thought the cinematography though was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are scenes that are just like really well shot. That
Right.
make it feel like it's.
I feel like you're convincing me a little bit to check it out.
It's
as
one
the
of those
person who's
things
never read
where, again, it's on Netflix. If you have a Netflix account, and who doesn't in 2017,
I don't know.
it's, you're going to log in.
The former owner of Blockbuster. I think that's about it.
You're going to log in. It's going to be like the first thing that you see, probably one of the first couple things. It doesn't take that long to watch. It's not great. Like, again, I feel like I just heaped a lot of praise on it. It's ultimately like, it's not very good. It's by far not a good adaptation of what Death Note is supposed to be. But it was at least entertaining.
It's watchable.
Yeah, it's watchable.
This is my normal standard is this is a good folding laundry movie.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I think we mentioned the last time I was on.
Yeah. So there you go.
Been watching a lot of folding laundry movies lately.
Nothing too high, nothing too low.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you are coming into the Death Note Netflix film, sort of fresh as far as like not really having read the manga or watched the anime, and the concept at least intrigues you, just go and buy the manga or go online and watch the anime, because it's such a good story. And I think for me, like, the reason why I couldn't bear to give this more than a 2 was because I'm really attached to the original.
Right. I mean, I think that makes sense. So I think there's probably I will give my impressions of this probably not on this week's episode of the Nerdpocalypse, but I'll try to watch it before the next one, and just to try to see, like, me going in completely fresh. I literally don't. Again, I know the top level about what it is, but outside of that, I don't have any connection to it. So I'd be interested to find out.
Yep.
All right,
cool.
I will check it out. That is our review for Death Note, 2 out of 5 from a anime expert. So there you go, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks.